It's 8 o'clock right now. A Wisconsin teenager is found with her alleged abductor being charged in several states. We've got the details straight ahead. Plus, Madison's Teamsters Union is speaking out over recent attacks towards Metro drivers. We'll hear what they're saying. Then later, it is a stock market sell-off, what investors are fearing, all as President Trump implements some new tariffs. This is Weekend Mornings, and we thank you for joining us here on this Saturday, April 5th. Singer-songwriter Pharrell Williams turns 52 today. I'm Kyle Pozorski, and let's get straight to the first warm forecast. Jacob Montesano has that. Good morning, Jacob. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, Kyle. As we look at the current radar, all the light showers we saw last night, they have cleared out of the region, and we're really not expecting any shower activity for the entire weekend. Taking a look at the temperatures, right now they are a little bit milder compared to this time yesterday morning, near 40 for Madison, upper 30s for parts of the region. We are starting to see some windy conditions move into the region. Looking off to the west, you can see those stronger winds out in Iowa and Minnesota. Some areas having wind speeds up to 20 miles per hour, but in Wisconsin, wind speeds around 10 to 15 miles per hour at this time, but they are going to strengthen throughout the morning into the afternoon. Overall, the winds aren't going to be awful, but we'll see wind gusts up around 30 miles per hour today, especially for areas west of Madison. But those winds are going to keep the temperatures down just a little bit. The average high is in the lower 50s, and we're going to be in the middle to upper 40s across the region. Now, for southern Wisconsin, at least far southern Wisconsin, we'll see a little bit more cloud cover. Still going to see sunshine at points today, but La Crosse, you folks will see a little bit more sunshine with less cloud cover the further northwest you're located. Highs will be in the middle 40s for you folks, and again, some windy conditions are expected. And looking across the area, we're mostly going to be in the middle to upper 40s with more clouds the further south and east you're located. But I'll talk more in detail about nicer weather for Sunday. But then we do have a small chance of snow next week. I'll have the details on that coming up a bit later.
All right, Jacob, thank you. To our top story, Sophia Franklin, the pregnant Beaver Dam teenager who was missing for 2 months, is now back with her family. On Friday, Gary Day pleaded not guilty to contributing to delinquency of a minor and providing a false name to law enforcement. Both of those are misdemeanor charges. Authorities located the pair on Wednesday at a truck stop in Nebraska.
This is a textbook example of someone making a 911 call because they didn't think something was right. We responded, and sure enough, he's got several warrants out of several states.
That's the Sharpie County Sheriff speaking there. According to them, both Day and Franklin hitchhiked to Omaha after Day's car broke down in Idaho. Here in Wisconsin, Day is charged with 2 counts of abducting a child and 2 counts of child enticement resulting in mental and bodily harm. A criminal complaint says Day and Franklin had been in contact for months and initially met online. At the time of her abduction, there was a no contact order between them. If convicted, Day would spend 25 years in prison and pay $100,000. In Madison, 2 Metro bus drivers are speaking out after being attacked by passengers. The Teamsters Union held a press conference on Friday asking for more support from the city to protect those drivers. In the past 5 weeks, there have been 4 reported assaults against Metro drivers. Brian Gartley, who was attacked while driving his route this past Sunday, says he received 3 days off and a workers' compensation package, but hasn't heard from Metro since.
I was struck in the face with a coffee mug and then struck multiple times during the attack, along with suffering a concussion. While fear for my safety was immediate, so too was my concern for my passengers.
Earlier this week, Metro's general manager, Justin Stuenberg, announced he is resigning from his position. Union representatives say he contributed to the unsafe workplace environment. It all comes amid contract negotiations between the Teamsters and the city of Madison. The union says they are fighting for livable wages. Government-imposed budget cuts are delaying the opening for Tellurian's Jackson House in La Crosse. The mental health addiction and crisis services facility was set to be open beginning next month. Tellurian's CEO says, quote, "Without this program, hospitals and jails will receive these individuals, which is not the ideal situation for a person in crisis. Their care center is still open and committed to providing services for those in need." It may be April, but March Madness is still in the air. In a programming note today, WIC TV3 Madison and WKBT TV8 La Crosse are the place to catch the Final Four of the men's NCAA basketball tournament. Tip-off between Florida and Auburn takes place this afternoon, a little after 5 Central Time. followed by Houston and Duke going at it at around 8. The title game is Monday night, and of course, all the action from San Antonio can be caught right here on your local CBS station. And in other sports news, something no one ever truly thought would happen, happened. Alexander Ovechkin has tied Wayne Gretzky's NHL record for the all-time goals leader. The Washington Capitals star scored 2 goals versus the Chicago Blackhawks last night, notching his 893rd and 894th goals to get to that tie. The great one, Wayne Gretzky, had this to say following the game.
He's been nothing but a champion, and I'm so proud that we're tied. I can live with that for 24 more hours. I can still say I'm tied for the most.
Now, Gretzky had been the solo goals scoring leader for over 31 years. The Capitals won Friday's game 5-3, by the way, and they'll go on to play the Islanders tomorrow night. A live look now at the U.S. Capitol, where overnight Senate Republicans began a marathon series of votes being dubbed a vote-a-rama. This all as Congress is inching closer to enacting President Trump's agenda. It was on Wednesday when the GOP unveiled a 70-page budget blueprint which lays out a path toward implementing the president's border security, defense, energy, as well as tax priorities. And also overnight, President Trump's 10% tariffs finally took effect, but the impact was already felt in the financial markets on Friday, with stocks plummeting for a second straight day. The decline now wiping out more than a year of market gains, and economists are concerned the tariffs could lead to a global recession. CBS's Bradley Blackburn is tracking the impact.
The sound of the bell Friday cemented the worst two-day drop in the stock market in 5 years. The Dow plunged more than 2,000 points, and Fed Chairman Jerome Powell says prices on goods will go up.
Looking ahead, higher tariffs will be working their way through our economy and are likely to raise inflation in coming quarters.
On Truth Social, President Trump projected calm, saying big business is not worried about the tariffs because they know they are here to stay, promising his plan will supercharge the economy. But many consumers are worried. According to a YouGov poll, 67% of Americans think the price of goods they typically purchase will increase. At a Costco in Massachusetts, shoppers were stocking up on products that may be impacted.
We're talking about it that we should buy some rice because we get rice that's made in Thailand. And we said we don't really need it right now, but we're going to buy it.
J.P. Morgan released a new prediction saying the risk of recession in the global economy this year stands at 60%. The tariffs are already rippling through global manufacturing. Stellantis has temporarily paused production at its auto plants in Canada and Mexico. At the Capitol late Friday, Senate Republicans launched a vote-a-rama, a marathon series of votes to move President Trump's legislative agenda forward on border security, defense spending, and tax cuts. Democrats pushed back.
The odds of a recession in America are surging because of Donald Trump's tariffs, and Senate Republicans have gone along.
The framework passed the Senate and will now need approval in the House. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
And China has announced a 34% retaliatory tariff on all U.S. goods, matching President Trump's reciprocal tariff on Beijing that is set to take effect next week. Meanwhile, President Trump is now granting another extension for TikTok to find a new buyer or face a ban. The president taking to social media saying he's signing an executive order to keep the popular social media platform up and running for an additional 75 days, all as the U.S. continues to work with TikTok and China to close a deal. TikTok's Chinese parent company had previously faced a deadline for today to sell the app to a U.S.-based buyer to prevent it from going dark nationwide.
Now that we're at each other's throats, this trade war getting hot and getting even hotter, it really does look like TikTok might be sort of a bargaining chip of sorts. And I think that the president and the White House have always seen the platform as something as a point of leverage to extract concessions out of China.
Amazon is among the companies that have put in a bid to acquire the app. TikTok's parent company has previously said it has no plans to sell. An update now, 2 boaters on the Wisconsin River went missing Thursday after their boat capsized. One has now been found dead and the second is still missing. The Wisconsin Dells Police Department says the boat turned over Thursday afternoon just south of the Kilbourne Dam. Police say a total of 3 people fell into the water. One was able to swim safely to shore, however, the other 2 were unable. The names of the boaters have so far not been released. And at this time, multiple rescue crews are using boats with sonar capabilities, as well as using aerial and underwater drones in the search. However, there have been some challenges. Police say due to fast-moving currents, divers have had trouble searching for the missing boaters. Well, take a look at that. Some dramatic courtroom video found from Fond du Lac Friday as convicted killer Taylor Shabiznis attacks her attorney again. She is currently serving a life sentence for a 2022 murder in Green Bay. And as you saw in this video, Shabiznis lunged towards her lawyer during a preliminary hearing that she was at for a charge of assaulting a prison guard. Officials in the courtroom, as you can see, quickly subdued her. Time now is 8:09, still ahead, the Health Watch with why even one case of food poisoning could impact how you view food for the rest of your life. Plus, Jacob is back with a full check of the first warn forecast. You're watching Weekend Mornings. Welcome back. Well, pizza lovers, it is time to make your stomachs happy and go deep because today is National Deep Dish Pizza Day. This particular style of pizza was invented in Chicago back in 1943 by the founder of Uno's Pizzeria, and it quickly caught on, and Uno's grew into a big national chain, and other deep dish pizzerias sprung up around the world. Fun fact, Jacob, there's actually an Uno's out in Platteville, so you don't have to go to Chicago to enjoy pizza on this National Deep Dish Pizza Day.
Yeah, but the deep dish in Chicago is the best. I can say so myself. I grew up there, but not surprising that it started in Chicago. They got great pizza there.
Yeah, they got something right.
Yeah, that's the food there is really good. I'll give that.
Yeah, well, you know, the pizza may be good, the Cubs not so much.
Well, they're off to a good start. Let's focus on the weather right now. That's what I'm here to talk about. Here's a look at the 3 things you need to know. We are going to be mostly dry this weekend with some light snow by the time we get to Monday morning. We are going to warm up throughout next week after Monday, so we're going to see much more spring-like temperatures towards the end of the 10-day forecast. Now, for today, we'll see partly to mostly sunny skies, a little bit more cloud cover the further southeast you're located. Highs will be in the middle to upper 40s, so that wind from the north will kind of keep the temperatures from reaching the 50s today, at least for the most part. We could see a few isolated 50s. And then for tonight, we'll see the skies become mostly clear, which will allow temperatures to drop into the middle and upper 20s. But for your Sunday, we're going to see a little bit more sunshine and a little bit less wind. Partly sunny skies are in the forecast. And because of the sunshine and the less wind, we'll have temperatures a little bit warmer. Middle to lower 50s are in the forecast. And as we look at the highs for the next 10 days, we are going to drop on Monday, but then after Monday, 60s are going to return by the time we get to Friday and next weekend. So it's looking very nice for the start of the farmers market. But I do want to focus right now on that 39 for Monday. The cold temperatures will be accompanied by the chance of some snow. Now, we're not expecting a lot of snowfall, but we could still see some slippery roads at times. So it's going to move in late Sunday night and move through Wisconsin by the time we early morning on Monday, most of it before sunrise. But again, right around that 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. range for Dane County, we could see some slippery roads. Most of it will clear out after sunrise, but we still could see some light flurries east of Madison during the daylight hours for the morning. But it will clear out by the afternoon, and then we're going to see partly sunny skies and a lot of sunshine is expected further west on Monday. But we could see maybe about an inch or two further northeast towards Fond du Lac and Green Bay. Madison and surrounding areas, though, likely just going to see a dusting. Now, beyond that, we really aren't expecting a lot of precipitation. We have a few small chances of rain next week, specifically Wednesday into Wednesday night, but that'll be just about it. Overall, we're going to be pretty dry going forward, and even that snowfall chance is not going to produce much. And for you folks in the Cross, it will clear out well before sunrise on Monday. It may last a little bit into those morning hours for Madison and southern Wisconsin, but still not going to see much from it. Might be our last chance of snowfall. Can't say that for sure, but there's certainly no chance of snow towards the end of the 10-day forecast, as highs will be in the 60s and lows will be in the 40s. So definitely too warm for a snowfall to form. And like I mentioned, even snowfall aside, we're really not going to see much in the form of rainfall either, at least for right now. Obviously, we'll eventually have some heavier rainfall days in the near future, but for the next 10 days, it's going to be fairly calm with the temperatures fluctuating a little bit. Again, 60s for the end of next week, and it will finally feel consistently like spring by then.
All right, Jacob, thank you. Moving on to more news, a Wisconsin artist is putting the final touches on his NFL Draft Day installation. The NFL saw the work of Ike Winter online, which led to the league asking him to create 32 wood art pieces for the draft for all 32 NFL teams. So he got right to work. He says the materials used were found on the side of the road or in alleyways in the Milwaukee area, incorporating the theme of this year's draft, built by community.
Being from Milwaukee and from Wisconsin has been a big part of my brand and the way I storytell my journey. So now to represent it on such a national stage is very surreal for me. I'm just beyond grateful for the opportunity.
The creations will next be displayed along the Draft Theater walkway. And of course, the draft will be taking place on April 24th through the 26th in Green Bay. On the Health Watch, there is new information showing that getting food poisoning even once changes how you look at food, plus how the Trump deportation efforts could affect your health care. CBS's Michael George reports on the week's medical news.
The Trump administration's deportation efforts may lead to a workforce shortage in healthcare. An analysis by JAMA found more than 1 million non-citizen immigrants work in healthcare, making up 4% of hospital workers and 7% of nursing home workers. There are already staffing shortages in nearly half of U.S. nursing homes. Mpox has the potential to become a major global health threat. Researchers from the University of Surrey say the disease, once referred to as monkeypox, is traditionally spread from animals to humans, but is now showing clear signs of human-to-human transmission. Doctors say we need to invest in more testing and treatments. And if you've ever had food poisoning, you may remember that afterwards it's hard to even look at the food that got you sick. Well, scientists have found that getting food poisoning creates a link in the memory part of your brain, forming a permanent connection that basically ruins that food for you forever. Scientists say it's a similar effect to PTSD. Those are some of the week's top health stories. Michael George, CBS News.
And we're coming up now on 8:20. Still ahead, actor and comedian Russell Brand is facing accusations of rape. Hear what's being said. Plus, our Will Loper will break down some of the best films and shows streaming this weekend. That's next, and then 3 things to watch. Stick with us.
Here's a look at the amount of precipitation we've seen so far this month and so far this year. Now, obviously, April just started, but with the rainfall we saw Wednesday, we do have a little bit more rain than we normally see through the first week. But taking a look at the year, now, since March 1st, we are about 2 inches above normal, but because January and February were so dry, the entire year we're still at a deficit, a small deficit, but that will likely get a little bit bigger as we're going to be pretty dry going forward. Here's a look at the forecast. Throughout the weekend will be completely dry. Here's that chance of snow Sunday night into Monday morning. But once that clears out, there's just going to be a few small chances of precipitation for the rest of next week. Tuesday, completely dry. Small chance of a rain shower as we get into Wednesday and Wednesday night. But as you can see, we're not really going to see much in the form of rainfall. May continue to see some light precipitation chances for Thursday and Friday as well. But looking at the amount of precipitation that's in the forecast, we're going to struggle to even get to 1/10 of an inch going forward. Now, because we've seen a lot of rainfall recently, we could afford a little bit of a break from the rain, but obviously if this continues, we would see the drought conditions reform. But for now, we are still pretty good, but just know that it is going to be very quiet for the next 10 days.
All right, Jacob, thank you. To celebrity news, police in the UK have charged comedian and actor Russell Brand with rape and other sexual offenses against 4 women. London's Metropolitan Police said Brand will appear in court early next month. They indicated he is living in southern England. The 50-year-old comedian and social commentator has previously denied the allegations. Police began investigating Brand in 2023 after receiving allegations following a joint investigation by 3 British media outlets. Police say one woman was allegedly raped in 1999 in southern England. Hey, did you see this? Bruce Springsteen is set to release over 80 new songs this summer. His Tracks 2, the Lost Albums collection, includes 7 full-length albums with songs that have never been heard by the general public. However, Springsteen says close friends have heard these songs over the years. He says they were written over the course of his decades-long career and were finished during the pandemic. The collection will drop on June 27th. From a medical drama to a supernatural thriller, there is plenty to stream these days. Our Loper shares a few of the best in this weekend's 3 Things to Watch.
Okay, I got 2 incoming. Let's go!
Intubator?
We need to move faster.
We should start compressions.
Dive into drama amidst medical crises in Pulse, newly streaming on Netflix.
Chief Resident Phillips has been suspended.
Come on, the guys are saying we have no idea what actually happened.
We'll need to appoint a replacement. I have chosen Danny Sims.
Dr. Cruz, you can't promote me. It shouldn't be me.
I'm sure you'll prove to us why it should be.
Come on, it's gonna be great.
The show follows a group of ER doctors navigating relationships in a Miami trauma center.
Did you die?
Watch Kevin Bacon as a man brought back to life in The Bondsman, newly streaming on Amazon Prime Video.
You're only standing here now because we brought you back. You're still a bounty hunter, but now you hunt demons.
The supernatural thriller series follows Bacon as he tracks down escaped demons.
Did you take our son along for a demon fight yesterday?
I'm just trying to do something nice here.
It's against the law. Go. It was against the law.
And fans of Wes Anderson can now stream 5 of his films on Hulu, including Rushmore,
Long and lonely mile.
The Royal Tenenbaums,
Oh, Richie, this illness, this closeness to death has had a profound effect on me. I feel like a different person. I really do.
Dad, you were never dying.
But I'm gonna live.
and The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou.
That was one of the most dramatic things that's ever happened on this boat.
Those are the slightly more than 3 things you need to watch, and this is Will Loper for Weekend Mornings.
And still ahead here on Weekend Mornings, got another look at today's biggest news stories and weather. Stick with us, we're back in a bit. Just past 8:30, and right now, Madison bus drivers injured by riders are speaking out against attacks on the system and how they're looking for some change. Plus, a convicted killer, Darrell Brooks, seeks to appeal his conviction, how he's looking to fire his attorney in the process. And then later, how the president is looking to calm investors as he implements a sweeping new tariff policy. Those stories and more ahead here on Weekend Mornings. And once again, we thank you for joining us here on this new half hour. I'm Kyle Pazorski here on this Saturday, April 5th. And Jacob Montesano has the first warn forecast. He joins us with that. Hi, Jacob.
Hey, Kyle. All the rain we saw last night has cleared out of the area, and we're going to be pretty much completely dry for the rest of the weekend. Looking at the cloud cover forecast, we are going to see a little bit increase in the clouds as we head into the later morning and early afternoon, especially for southern Wisconsin. Areas further northwest towards La Crosse, Eau Claire, you folks will see sunshine throughout the afternoon. But once we get towards sunset, we're going to see clear skies for the entire region, and the clear skies will continue overnight. Temperatures right now near 40 for Madison, lower 40s, upper 30s across the area. A little bit mild because of those clouds we had overnight. Now, it is a little bit breezy right now, especially off to the west. Wind gusts up to around 30 miles per hour. That's going to continue for the most part throughout the afternoon. The winds will be a bit stronger the further west you're located, but winds overall not going to be awful, and they're going to calm down throughout the overnight hours. Taking a look at today's forecast, because of the winds, we're going to keep the temperatures in the 40s. Middle to upper 40s are in the forecast. Overall, partly to mostly cloudy skies for Madison. We'll definitely see sunshine throughout the day, though. And for La Crosse, completely sunny skies for much of the day with high temperatures in at the middle 40s, so a little bit below normal for this time of the year, but overall not too bad. Now, Sunday will look a little bit better, but we do have a chance of snowfall next week. That's right, we're not quite done with that yet. The details coming up a little bit later.
Better, but still the 40s, not ideal, but we're warming up, I guess.
I know, like, obviously farmers want the rainfall, but I will take the forecast for today is obviously a lot better than if it was raining all day in the 60s, I feel.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Thank you, Jacob. On to some continuing coverage now. 2 Madison Metro drivers who have been attacked by passengers are now speaking out. At a Teamsters union press conference on Friday, they say their injuries could have been avoided, all while advocating for system-wide change. Our Maddie Himes reports.
Today we heard for the first time from Metro drivers who say they've been assaulted on the job. They also say Metro and the city aren't doing enough.
I was struck in the face with a coffee mug and then struck multiple times during the attack, along with suffering a concussion.
Brian Gartley was attacked by a passenger Sunday night.
While fear for my safety was immediate, so too was my concern for my passengers.
He says Metro gave him 3 days off as well as a workers' compensation package, but hasn't heard from them since. Now he's set to return to his route.
His only choice is to go back to work Friday night on the same route that he was assaulted on, and the person that assaulted him could potentially be back on that bus because he's not in jail.
Gartley is one of the 4 drivers who has faced physical assault on the job within the past 5 weeks.
The daily atmosphere with my fellow operators is a growing concern over the rapid increase in these attacks and worrying for our safety.
The Teamsters and the city of Madison are locked in wage negotiations, but the union wants safety solutions now, partnering with District 17 Alder Sabrina Madison to draft a city resolution regarding driver and passenger safety.
When an assault happens on a Metro bus, the public are also in immediate danger because of the situation.
That resolution would outline consequences for assailants, including enforced felony charges and an immediate lifetime ban from Metro Transit.
Under no circumstance should another operator or a passenger have to endure what I had to deal with.
In a joint statement released hours after the meeting, Madison Metro and the City of Madison announced they're looking to form an incident review board and increase penalties for disorderly conduct, among other initiatives to protect drivers.
Every single day, we've been putting pressure on Metro and on the city to look out for our workers.
A safe workplace, that's a right. That's not a privilege, that's a right.
Reporting in Madison, I'm Maddie Himes, News 3 Now.
And Metro's general manager, Justin Sturenberg, announced earlier this week that he'd be stepping down from his position. Union representatives say he contributed to the unsafe workplace environment, and you can watch our one-on-one interview with him over on channel3000.com. Next this morning, an update. Sophia Franklin, the pregnant beaver dam team who was missing, is back with her family. She had been missing for 2 months. On Friday, Gary Day pleaded not guilty to contributing to the delinquency of a minor and providing a false name to law enforcement, both of which are misdemeanor charges. It was on Wednesday when Day was spotted with Sophia in Nebraska at a truck stop. Well, back here in Wisconsin, Day is charged with 2 counts of abducting a child and 2 counts of child enticement resulting in mental and bodily harm. A criminal complaint says Day and Franklin had been in contact for months and initially met online. At the time of her abduction, there was a no contact order between them. If convicted, he could spend 25 years in prison and pay $100,000. La Crosse area lawmakers are working to hear what residents want to see coming up in the next state budget. Now, Democratic Representative Jill Billings and Senator Brad Pfaff hosted a listening session in Sparta on Friday. Billings says she heard voters' concerns about how potential federal cuts could affect state aid programs. And with so much uncertainty, Billings says voters can't afford to be passive.
This is not a time to be a spectator in the sport of politics. This is a time to get involved and make your voice heard.
Governor Evers' budget proposal calls for historic spending on public education, as well as $2 billion in tax cuts. The Republican-controlled legislature, though, has already promised they'll write their own budget from scratch. The 2 Cooley region lawmakers will host another listening session on April 14th at the La Crosse Public Library. Elsewhere around the state, Darrell Brooks, the man found guilty of driving an SUV through the 2021 Waukesha Christmas Parade, plans to appeal his conviction. Brooks gained notoriety when he represented himself through a weeks-long high-drama trial back in 2022. Now facing Judge Jennifer Darrow again, Brooks wants his appellate attorney to withdraw from the case and is seeking to represent himself in the appeal. Brooks has until June 3rd to file notice of appeal, unless he requests an additional extension. President Trump is looking to calm investors after stocks tumbled for the second day in a row on Friday. Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell says the sweeping new tariffs run the risk of long-term pain for the economy. On Friday, the president took to social media urging Powell to cut interest rates and stop playing politics. Powell says the Fed needs more data on the tariffs' impact before making a move. But administration officials insist a rebound will come as American manufacturing is restored.
We're well positioned to wait for greater clarity before considering any adjustments to our policy stance.
Markets are crashing because markets are based on the stock value of companies who today are embedded in modes of production that are bad for the United States.
President Trump says he is open to negotiating with trade partners and spoke with the leader of Vietnam, where many American companies manufacture shoes, apparel, electronics, and other products. The president says Vietnam wants to cut their tariffs down to zero if they are able to make an agreement with the U.S. It's 8:39 still ahead. Jacob has a quick check of today's forecast and what to expect this weekend. Plus, here's a look at today's day in history. Welcome back. A really fun story now. A 100-year-old woman in North Dakota has her memories in order. That's because she hasn't missed a daily diary entry in nearly 90 years. Boyd Hupert has her story.
It's not unusual for lives to be documented in photos.
I played outside.
Each picture, the old saying goes, worth 1,000 words.
It was 29 degrees above zero.
But Evie Risky has both.
We butchered some turkeys.
This is my mom's cedar chest. Most of the diaries are right here.
The diaries.
1996, 2016.
Packed outside.
2017.
And in.
Page after page after page. This is before she met my dad. So we had some dating things happening.
But let's not get
46 to 50.
Ahead of ourselves.
Whole bunch of stories.
The girl on the far right in this school photo is Evie Risky at age 10.
My first diary.
With a new Christmas gift from her father.
Grandmas were at our place and Clarence walked from Mount Elmas this morning. That was the first entry. 1936.
Then Evie
1939
didn't stop.
On January 3rd, it was 26 below zero.
Didn't stop on her 25th birthday.
Dad made popcorn and we played canasta.
Didn't stop
in 75.
On her 50th.
I got a can opener from Todd.
Didn't stop on January 2nd this year.
Wanda came at 10 a.m. to do my hair. So I will look nice at my 100th birthday party.
Hasn't missed a single day.
No, I have not.
In nearly 90 years.
33,000 days.
Daughters Michelle and Linda.
It's hard to fathom.
Have their parents' wedding photo.
54.
And the accompanying script.
We were married by the judge at 2 p.m.
It's all about our lives, too.
Don took me to the hospital.
The births
we drove like hell.
Of Evie's 3 children.
God is good. He gave us another healthy child.
The mundane.
He washed my hair.
And the knot.
On December 7th, Japan invaded Pearl Harbor by dropping bombs.
This, Evie wrote at 16.
There are 32 countries in war now. It's bad.
You get the chills a little when you're reading some of these things. To hear over the radio that John Kennedy had been assassinated.
His wife was with him when he was shot. I went to Penny's store and everyone was quiet. Not a soul said a word.
And it's your mother. It's not just a person you read about.
The Trade Center building was blown up by terrorists. This is the worst day for USA since Pearl Harbor.
Raising her kids, running a meat locker with her husband.
Washed the walls, scrubbed the floors, butchered, baked bread. Didn't go to school past 8th grade because it was the Depression. She had to work.
Yet somehow,
Took down the Christmas tree.
Evie always found time
It's just a habit.
to write.
I enjoy it.
Evie and Don were married 56 years.
He died at 10 minutes to 4 p.m. After his last breath, we all cried.
Words worth 1,000 pictures.
I miss Don.
In the story of a life being written still.
Yes, it's been a good life.
Good morning, everybody. Here's a final look at the 3 things you need to know. Mostly dry for the weekend, but we do have some light snow expected Monday morning. However, after that snowfall, temperatures will warm up and we're really not going to see a ton of precipitation for next week. So here's a final look at today's forecast. Highs will be in the middle to upper 40s. A decent amount of cloud cover for southern Wisconsin, but we'll still see peaks of sunshine throughout the day. A little bit more sunshine the further northwest you go, but everyone will see temperatures pretty similarly in the 40s. For tonight, we'll see the clear skies, letting temperatures drop into the 20s, so a little bit cooler tonight than what we're seeing right now. And then for Sunday, we are going to see warmer temperatures for the afternoon. We are going to see partly to mostly sunny skies, still a few clouds at times, but we are going to see a little bit more sunshine and some warmer temperatures in the 50s. Now, Sunday night, we're going to see those temperatures fall, which will allow for some snow to move through our area. So late Sunday night, we'll start to see it move into our region. A lot of the area will only see it snow overnight before sunrise Monday. Could see some of that snow linger into the morning hours after sunrise, but best chance of snow will kind of be between around 4 a.m. to 7 a.m. depending on your location, a little bit earlier further north. But this snow is going to be very quick. We're likely not going to see any accumulation. Areas east of Madison could see it snow a little bit longer, but by around noon, much of the area will be dry, and then we're going to be dry by the afternoon and evening. Now, total accumulation, again, very minimal, maybe about an inch or two as you go further northeast towards Green Bay. Madison surrounding areas, just a dusting. La Crosse, even less, probably, maybe not even any snow at all. So overall, although there's snow in the forecast, we're not going to see much. And after that snowfall, although we have a few other chances of precipitation, these precipitation chances will also not amount to much. The best chance will be Wednesday into Wednesday night, but it looks like it'll just be in the form of some light showers. So very quiet moving forward. Precipitation-wise, we are going to see temperatures a little bit up and down. Like I said, 40s today, 50s tomorrow, but then near 40, possibly only seeing highs in the 30s for Monday. 40s Tuesday, warming up into the 50s as we head into Wednesday. Could get to the 60s by Thursday, but more likely going to get there by Friday. Then 60s will continue for next weekend, possibly even some lower 70s at times. So it's going to feel a lot more like spring once we get there, and next weekend's the first weekend of the farmers market, so the forecast is looking very good for that. And like I mentioned, a few small chances of precipitation. That snow Monday morning, some rain chances Wednesday, maybe Thursday as well, and then the beginning of the following week, but nothing really too significant. We're not even close to even considering any alert days in the forecast, so overall pretty quiet, other than the fact that the temperatures will kind of be up and down despite the lack of precipitation.
Thursday, John Blackwell announced he's putting his name in the NBA draft. Nolan Winter, don't worry. On Friday, he said he'll be back for another season at Wisconsin. His sophomore year was a breakout one. Winter started every game and averaged nearly 10 points per contest. He led the Badgers in rebounding and was the team's most efficient player on offense, shooting 56% from the floor. Meanwhile, Jack Janicki also announced that he's coming back for another year in Madison. Now, he only averaged 2 points per game, but Janicki always seemed to come up big against big-time opponents for the Badgers. Think of his 9 points in 19 minutes against Arizona, or his 17 huge minutes at Purdue, where he scored 11. More good news for Greg Gard. Austin Rapp announced that he's a Badger. The WCC Freshman of the Year averaged 14 points, 7 rebounds, and 3 assists during his lone season at Portland. The 6'10 Australian will have 3 years of eligibility in Madison. Well, don't look now, but the Brewers are red hot. After starting the year with 4 straight losses, they've won 3 in a row. 5th inning, crew up 1-0, and Bryce Terang says, "You rang." He blasts a 2-run bomb to center to make it 3-0. Brewers win their 4th straight. They'll go for a sweep of the Reds today. And that's it for Morning Sports. Have a great day.
Hey, finally this morning, a program reminder. Today, WIC TV3 Madison and WKBT TV 8 in La Crosse is the place to be to catch the Final Four national semifinals of the NCAA men's basketball tournament. Tip-off between Florida and Auburn will take place at 5 Central Time, followed by Houston and Duke at around 8. The title game on Monday. Of course, all the action from San Antonio can be caught right here on your local CBS station. Pretty crazy that all the 1 seeds are in the Final Four, isn't that, Jacob?
Yeah, it's only the second time in history. I'm a big fan of March Madness, and I'm actually very happy. I have Florida over Duke in the finals, so it's like the first time ever I have both my championship teams in the Final Four.
I had Duke winning it all, so they better...
I think Duke's going to win. If I had to repick, I'd pick Duke. Duke looks almost unstoppable. We'll see what happens, though. I mean, it has been a pretty tame March Madness for those that have watched, but... So something's bound to go crazy, right?
It's not even March now.
It is not. You're right. It's not. But it still kind of feels like it. We'll see 40s today, lower 50s for Sunday. We'll feel a little bit better. But then 30s Monday, 40s Tuesday. So during the games today and the game on Monday, it's still going to feel like March. So don't worry. But then we'll be like April towards the end of next week with 60s.
All right. Thank you, Jacob, and thank you all for watching. We're back here tomorrow morning at 6:30. We'll see you then.